Okay, the conflicts between fundamental rights and directive principles and DPSP. Okay, so the very first conflict arises in a very first amendment, when the problem with the directive principle and the fundamental right is concerned. As far as the fundamental right is concerned, over here the bone of contention is 31st, right to property. It begin from the beginning. Then 31 A and B, 31A and 31B, both have been added by the First Amendment. First Amendment. And then what happened? What is another case? Then again this 4th, 17th, 24th, 29th, all are related. But this is the first important. Second important is 24th. 24th. Why 24th came? For the for the amendment of 13 and 368. That's very interesting. And not only amended the 13 and 68, the procedure of 68, 368, but also the power of 368 completely. This is your 24th. Yeah. Then 25th came. And this 25th is again very interesting. This 25th added your 31C. And 31C is the greatest bone of contention, because it is given for the primacy of directive principles of 39A and 39B. Small a and small b, not cap. 39A and 39B. For the implementation of 39A and 39B. Mrs. Gandhi has done it. All these two. In 1971, after Golaknath. These two amendments came to overrule the Golaknath judgment. And then the next important judgment the amendment is concerned, the conflict between both of them is 42nd. And 42nd, that's very interesting. I did your first thing, 31D. This again a great contribution. 31D says that will not be within the ambit of any fundamental right. When to implement directive principle, if there is a contravention with fundamental right, that will not be the subject to judicial review. This is 31D. That's great. Okay. And that is why your 43rd by Janta government repealed this 31. It was repealed in 43. Then comes your 44th. And 44th talks about, as far as the conflict between both of them is concerned, 44th. Yes, completely shifted this one, your 31 to 300A and remove this, completely solve the problem of this bone of contention of property right. And is 17, you know, that came for to define the state and all that. That's not very important. And then this is your 44th. And after that, the next one is 73rd and 74th. That is implementation of 41. Nothing. There is no conflict as such. These are the major issues of conflict. And conflict, how arises, just see the cases and then we'll come on it. And as far as that is 6 is concerned, add it. Okay, let me complete. 86. Added your 45, substituted 45. And 97th. Contribution of 97th is your 43B. And as far as the 42nd is concerned, we have not gone through in detail. If you go in detail, then, concerning this particular contest, in this contest, in this contest, 42nd. So, second, 31, 42nd, 31D, yes, 31D, and something more than that concerning this one. As far as the fundamental right and directive principle is concerned, yes, that's it. That's it. Nothing more than that. 86. Why not 21A? And why only fundamental rights if you want to write it? 21A. And why not 21A? But also the 51A. All three. It's a directive principle, it's a fundamental right, it's a fundamental duty. All three. If we talk about 86, holistically, completely. I'm not talking any amendment completely. I'm talking only with only in this contest, conflict between. Otherwise, if 46 has, 53 articles has been amended. 53. That is why it is known as a revision of the whole constitution. And 7th schedule and some other insertions are there. Amendment, insertions, and and to repeal all different things. Okay, go ahead. So this is the conflict between both of them. How the conflict arises. Now see the cases. So to see the case, the first one is earlier to Golaknath. It was a general perception. Earlier to Golaknath, it was a general perception that any part of our constitution is not unamendable. Any part of our constitution is not unamendable, means can be amended. This was a general perception. But that is why earlier to Golaknath, this came in 1967. Golaknath, there are 3 cases. Sajjan Kumar, Shankari Prasad, and Punjab of Kerala, I think state of Kerala or state of Punjab. And in third judgment, Golaknath has categorically said what? That the fundamental rights cannot be amended. Fundamental rights cannot be amended. Can't be amended. Categorically said. Even for the sake of your application of your DPSP, fundamental rights cannot be amended. Sacrosanct. They are sacrosanct. So this is the judgment of your Golaknath case. Then comes your Keshwanand. As far as the Keshwanand is concerned, it came into, okay, but let me. When this judgment came, then comes your 24th and 25th Amendment in 1971. 24th and 25th in 1971. And what they talk. For 24th, your talk, it's 1971. It's also 1971. 24th amended completely. You know, that's very interesting. 13, Article 13, and even also the Article 368 itself. That's very interesting. Because 368 itself says that it can be amended. Okay. And what is 13? 13 prohibits that the fundamental rights cannot be amended. And that is why Mrs. Gandhi have amended both. Okay. And then in 25th, she added, 31D. For the sake of what? For the sake of that should be put beyond the judiciability, beyond the judicial review. Yes. Why not? Then what happened? Then this was these two, against these two amendments, the Keshwanand case was there. This Keshwanand case was against these two amendments. Try to understand. And then 13 judges bench, full bench at that time. It was a full bench. They has heard the case. Because it's a very serious concern. And says, okay, because 31 says that no judiciary cannot challenge the sovereignty of parliament to amend any part of the constitution. Because your 368 gives unlimited power to parliament to amend any part of the constitution. That is the sovereignty of parliament. That is the sovereignty of legislature. Judiciary cannot do anything. That is claimed by this amendment. And why not? Because your Article 368 gives it unlimited power to amend any part. If you go through and if you read text, then you will find it. That we do not need, what is 368? 368 says you can revise even a whole constitution because you do not need any, will come on it, procedure of the amendment. Because we do not need any other body to revise the constitution. Like US Constitution. In US Constitution, there is another Constituent Assembly. But this majority government can be converted into Constituent Assembly, So 368 gives unlimited power to our legislature. But the point is, there is a fine balance between the founders of our founding fathers of our Constitution had the vision for a fine balance between both of them. Who protected it? How it had been protected in Keshwanand Bharati? How? Just try to understand. So Keshwanand says over here, yes, of course you can amend any part of the Constitution. No issue. Any part of the Constitution. No issue. But you cannot disturb the basic feature, he has called it basic features, essential features, basic features, and essential features. And so you cannot disturb the basic structure. And now try to understand. As far as the basic structure is concerned, Keshwanand had defined it. What? The basic structure is the parliamentary system of government, first. Independence of judiciary, second. Independence. Independence of judiciary. I'm writing start. Please write it. Judiciary and parliamentary function of government, independence of judiciary, and sovereignty and integrity of the union territory. Sovereignty and integrity and integrity of union territory, means of union and its territory. And one more thing, yes, independence of judiciary, parliament, and federal structure and federal system of government. Federal system, that's very interesting. So these are the elements defined by Keswanand Bharati as a basic structure. And interesting thing is there, that's very interesting. Fundamental right is not there. Parliamentary function of government, parliamentary system of government, independence of judiciary, federal system, and sovereignty and integrity of the nation, of the union and its territory. Okay, but fundamental right is not there. But the interesting thing is he has used three terms: basic features, essential features, and basic structure. So it is only the definition of basic structure given by Keswanand. But later on, on the line of this judgment, basic features are defined right now more than 22. Time and time again. But the fundamental right is not there. That's a very interesting. Means there should be no conflict between the fundamental right and the directive principle, because there is there is not only balance between parliament and judiciary, but also both are complementary to each other, fundamental rights, and in order to implement directive principles, if there is a contravention with the fundamental right, then it can be amended. Why not? Because common good is more important than individual's freedom. Both are equally important. So that is why your this one, 13 and 68, and these two, says that 31D itself says that if the 14, 19, and 31 will not be barrier for amendment, and the definition is also beautifully given. It gives, the reasonable classification, because the equal treatment for equals and unequal treatment for unequals. So there is a discrimination, reasonable. So there is a reasonable discrimination. So there is a scope for, the amendment. And it is also suspended many times, during emergency and all that. So 19 and 19, that is why 19(1)(f) has been the removed in 44th. In 44th will come on it. 19(1)(f) and 31 both have been shifted from, both have been shifted from fundamental right to legal right. Why? Because of this one. Because of this case one. And that's good. That is the wisdom of our judiciary. At prima facie, you see why there is no fundamental right. And if over here fundamental right has been written over there, then you cannot, neither you can 19(1)(f) and 31 cannot be amended. That's a wisdom of our judiciary. Yeah. So go ahead. This is your Keshwanand. And then after that came your Minerva Mill.